Hi, today we're going to talk about watering and watering properly. In the summer, many areas in New Zealand have reduced watering capabilities, and we're reduced to only watering in the evenings or a couple of hours a day. But during the summer, plants need a lot more water. They need light and water. And plants with big leaves, such as the zinnia, or even in your vegetable garden, things like rhubarb with huge leaves, need more water. These leaves sort of act a bit like a solar panel. They convert the sun's rays into food for your plants, and then that gets transposed down into the root system. So if they don't have enough water, plants are going to suffer. So knowing how to water is absolutely crucial. Now you might think if you're watering like this and giving those leaves a lovely drink, that the plants are really loving it, and that's enough. But it's not enough at all, because if you notice, right down the bottom here, you can see how these big leaves have kept the plants, the soil underneath the plant, dry, and down here it's still dry. So the key thing is, A, you shouldn't water the plant's leaves at all if you can help it, because that promotes fungal diseases. And if you water during the day like I just did when it's hot and sunny, the leaves are very likely to burn. You should water down the bottom here at the base of the plant and water it really well. The key thing is to water and soak the entire root systems of the plant so they can soak it up. And then you only have to do this a couple of times a week. Anything with large leaves like this rhubarb, it's especially important to get your nozzle right underneath at the base of the plant. That's why I like to use a watering wand, because it's easy for me to poke the water wand right into the middle of the plant and get right at the base, because you're certainly not going to get lots of rhubarb unless it's damp. Water is to make a little moat around each plant and fill it up. And then you can just leave it to drain into the root zone of your plant. You need to use about an inch of water. An inch of water will go down about 6 inches into the ground, just like that. And you can be assured that that plant's had a really good drain. My preferred way of watering long lines of trees or hedges, or even in big shrubby garden beds, is with a soak hose. Because a soak hose, you lose absolutely no water whatsoever, no transpiration. It goes right down into the root zone of the plants. I use a water timer at home, and I just turn it on for an hour or so and let it ooze into the ground. As you can see with my soak hose has to be right up close to the root system, where it'll just ooze right down into the area that you need it most. I have my soak hose right the way along our fruit tree line, and I've joined it in the middle and have the soak hoses going out both ways. Otherwise I don't have enough pressure to get you to the end of each 20-metre length. As you can see, at the end of this raised garden, the penstemons are really suffering, because the soil has got so dry that the water simply won't go in. It sits on top and then it runs off, and it just won't go down into the plant's root system. That's because I haven't added Saturaid into this area for quite some time. In all my garden beds I use Saturaid, and all we have to do is take a small amount of it from this pail, and it's coir fibre, so it's a natural product, and just scatter it on top like this. And next time you water, the water will go straight down into the plant's root zone. You can see underneath how dry the soil still is. Even though we've been watering, it hasn't gone anywhere. It's only gone on the absolute surface of the soil. So then scruff your Saturaid in so you don't lose it. You can do this with a fork. Well, I've just got my Nawashi here because it's my favourite tool. And now when we water, you'll see the difference. Now I've watered about the same amount that I watered before, and we'll let that go in, and then we'll see how far the water's gone through this time. As you can see, it's taken a while to soak in, but now the water has gone all the way through, right down, and it's still sitting at the base of the plant, soaking down even further. That's the difference your Saturaid will make. So the key points to remember is to, if you can, water in the evening, when your plants can take up all that water without transpiring so much. If you can't do that, water early in the morning. Water at the base of the plants, and water really well so they get a good soaking. And this way you'd only have to water maybe a couple of times a week if it's it's very dry. And don't water the leaves. Watering the leaves will give you mildews, and if you water the leaves during the heat of the day, you'll find scorch marks on those leaves, and they're really ugly. You can't fix them. And if you find you've got some really dry patches, use the Saturaid. It's a great water saver and time saver as well. Enjoy your garden in the summer.